buy 2 ounces of arsenic, please.
And may I ask for what purpose?
A little problem of rats in the basement.
Oh, of course. If you would be so kind as to sign the poison book. Mary Slater. Thank you very much.
Strong Poison by Dorothy L. Sayers, with Simon Russell Beale as Lord Peter Wimsey and Emma Fielding as Harriet Vane.
Members of the jury, are you agreed upon your verdict?
I'm sorry to say that we find it impossible to come to an agreement in this case.
Can I assist you in any way?
No, thank you, my lord. We fully understand the evidence, but we can't agree about it.
That is most unfortunate. I think you had better try again. And if you are still unable to reach a decision, you must come and tell me.
Yes, my lord.
Wimsey, my dear fellow.
Oh.
Didn't expect to find you in here. I thought you'd still be over the road in the Old Bailey.
The jury are having a little difficulty reaching a verdict. I thought I'd seize the opportunity to down a livener.
Can I get you another?
Oh, no, thanks, Freddie. This will be perfectly adequate to my purpose. Why didn't you sit down?
What's the problem with the jury? From what I read in the papers, the whole thing seemed perfectly straightforward. Girl poisoned her lover. She didn't even look particularly pretty.
Photographs in the papers can be very deceptive, Freddie. Anyway, I'm convinced that Harriet Vane didn't do it.
But I thought they'd proved that the girl had been buying arsenic in chemists all over London and signing the poison book with a false name.
She doesn't deny that. She's a writer of detective stories. She wanted to show how easy it was for a perfectly ordinary person to get hold of deadly poison over the counter.
It sounds a pretty flimsy story to me. Why are you so sure she didn't do it?
I know that Miss Vane is not a murderess, Freddie. For a start, where's the motive?
I thought the fellow had walked out on her. Hell hath no fury and all that.
My dear old chum, it was she who walked out on him. They'd been living together for a bit more than a year. She wasn't at all keen on the idea, but she was attracted to him, and he gave her to understand that he was conscientiously opposed to formal marriage. So after he'd been badgering away at her for months on end, she finally agreed to live with him outside the bonds of marriage, as the judge put it.
Judges don't care for that kind of thing much.
This one certainly didn't.
You may feel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that it was a wrong thing to do. You may think that one step of doing wrong makes the next one easier. But you must not give too much weight to that consideration.
I should jolly well hope not. Oh, damn it, Peter, if every little game led to murder, they'd be hanging half of us for doing in the other half. This lover of hers, Philip Boyd, was some kind of writer, wasn't he?
He wrote novels of what the judge described as the advanced type. Positively filthy, according to a cousin of mine. He made his wife take one of them back to the library. Philip Boyd seems to have been a perfectly foul little blighter.
So, why did the girl leave him anyway?
Because he asked her to marry him.
That's a pretty curious reason for leaving a chap. What could you possibly object to in that?
He'd made a fool of her, don't you see? He'd been trying her out, as if she was something he'd been sent on approval. After that, she refused to have anything to do with him.
So when did all this arsenic business come into it?
After she left him, Boys went to share a house with a cousin, Norman Urquhart. He's a solicitor. And shortly after that, he began to suffer from attacks of gastric trouble. The prosecution, and from the look in his eye, the judge, reckoned that they tied up with Harriet Vane's trips to the chemist.
The vital point about the dates of Philip Boyd's attacks, as recorded by his doctor, is that they coincided with his occasional encounters with Harriet Vane, generally at informal parties given by mutual friends, and with the prisoner's purchases of arsenic.
But how the devil is she supposed to have slipped him the stuff without poisoning half the room?
No one seems to have noticed that little point. Anyway, Boys went off to recuperate with an old chum of his called Ryland Vaughan in Harlech. But he seems to have been pretty miserable, and he wrote a letter to Miss Vane saying that he couldn't stick it there any longer. He wanted to see her again, and if he couldn't put things straight with her, he'd chuck it for good and go out west. The defence, Sir Impey Biggs, no less, did their best to make out that he was threatening to make away with himself, but they made a pretty poor show of it, and the judge didn't look as if he believed a word of it.
The argument may be convincing to you. But Mr. Urquhart, when cross-examined on the subject by the Attorney General, said he supposed the letter to refer to a project which he himself had suggested to the deceased of taking a voyage to the Barbados. No doubt you have formed your own opinion on this point.
And so we come to the fatal day. Harriet Vane sent Boyes a pretty bleak little note, telling him that she'd see him, but that nothing he could say would make her change her mind. They arranged to meet at her flat at 9:30 on the evening of June the 20th for coffee.
And that's when she's supposed to have slipped in the arsenic.
Yes. The evidence from here on is largely of the gastronomical variety. Boyes came back from Wales to all appearances in tip-top condition. Because he wasn't seeing Miss Vane until 9:30, he and Norman Urquhart had dinner together at home. 4 courses, with a maid in attendance throughout the meal.
Bit unnecessary, surely?
Boyes is something of a traditionalist, I gather. They kicked off with some soup, served by the maid from a tureen on the sideboard. What they didn't finish was left for her and the cook. This was followed by... Oh, just a sec, I made a note of it. Yes, by a piece of turbot with sauce, and then a poulet en casserole.
They seem to have been doing themselves pretty well.
Again, there was some left over, which was finished by the maid. To round things off, there was a sweet omelette, which Philip Boyes made in a chafing dish by the side of the table. Both of them seemed to have been exceptionally fussy about eating their omelettes straight from the pan.
I wouldn't quarrel with that.
4 eggs were brought in by the maid, who then left them to it. Urquhart broke them into a bowl and added the sugar from a sifter. He then handed the bowl to Boyes.
Why did he do that?
Well, apparently Boyes was the omelette expert. He cooked the omelette and filled it with hot jam.
Lovely.
And divided it into 2 portions.
So, it can't have been the omelette that was poisoned. Did they have any wine?
Urquhart didn't drink anything, doctor's orders apparently, but he opened a bottle of Corton for Boyes, who drank a couple of glasses, and then it was corked up again. It was later analysed and, like Caesar's wife, was above suspicion.
So all this minutely detailed evidence was to prove that Boyes couldn't have been given the arsenic with his dinner.
Exactly. The learned judge made quite a point of that.
I have been careful to remind you of all these things to show that we have good proof that every dish served at dinner was partaken of by 2 people at least, and in most cases by 4. Neither Mr. Urquhart, the maid, nor Mrs. Pettican, the cook, felt any ill effects from this meal.
Did they have any coffee?
Boyes didn't. Urquhart favours Turkish, which he didn't much care for. And in any case, he was expecting to be given coffee by Miss Vane. He left the house at 9:15 and was at her flat in Doughty Street by 9:30. There was coffee already waiting there in a saucepan on the gas ring. But as the Attorney General rather heavily pointed out, we only have Miss Vane's word for that. Boyes had a cup or 2 and they started to talk. They didn't exactly get on like lambs in a meadow, and they finished up having a row. He left about 10.
And was he all right then?
No. He said that he was feeling unwell, but he put it down to the fact that she'd upset him. At 10:10, he staggered up to a taxi in Guildford Street and asked to be taken back to Woburn Square. When he arrived, he was in such a frightful state that a doctor was called in, who diagnosed acute gastritis. 2 days later, Boyes was so ill that his father was sent for. Apparently, he was just about able to speak, and he said, I noted it down. I'm going out, Dad, and I'll be glad to be through with it. Harriet will be rid of me now. I didn't know she hated me so much.
Pretty damning.
You think so? Anyway, he died the following morning. The doctors were inclined to put it down to gastritis, but they weren't altogether happy, so they decided on a post-mortem.
Which revealed traces of arsenic in his system.
In the liver, the kidneys, all over the place.
And since it couldn't have been in the dinner he had with his cousin, the police decided to hang it round Miss Vane's neck.
Not exactly the happiest of phrases, Freddie, but yes, my old chum, Chief Inspector Parker, made a pretty major gaffe.
You seem remarkably sure of it.
I'm certain of it, Freddie. But I'd better be getting back, see how the jury are getting on. Oh, by a very curious coincidence, an old friend of mine, Miss Climpson, just happens to be on the jury. She's got a fearfully tough conscience. She won't let them get away with any nonsense.
Thought you'd be here, Peter. I noticed you in court yesterday.
Charles, this is Freddie Arbuthnot. Freddie, Chief Inspector Parker.
Hello.
You know, Charles, you ought not to be allowed out without me. You've made the most terrible mistake on this one.
How do you mean, mistake?
She didn't do it. It's very convincing and watertight, but it's all wrong.
But, my dear man, where's the flaw in it?
There isn't one. There's nothing wrong about it at all, except that the girl's innocent.
Well, somebody on the jury obviously agrees with you, or it would have all been over long ago. By the by, isn't that your Miss Climpson?
The woman who runs the cattery. I hope you're not trying to pervert the course of justice. Purest coincidence, Charles. More in the line of an act of providence.
What on earth's the cattery when it's at home?
It's one of Peter's little undercover affairs. An eminently respectable private inquiry agency posing as a typing bureau.
The jury's coming back. You better go in. Members of the jury, are you agreed upon your verdict?
No, my lord, we are not. We are quite sure that it is impossible for us ever to agree.
You are quite certain? I am prepared to remain here for as long as you like.
We shall never agree, my lord, not if we was to sit here.
In that case, and to order a new trial.
Miss Clemson, bravely done.
Oh, Lord Peter, what a dreadful day it's been. I'm afraid that it was me that caused most of the trouble, though two of the others very gallantly backed me up. I hope I haven't done wrong, but I couldn't say she'd done it when I was sure she hadn't, could I?
She didn't do it, and I'm going to prove that she didn't. And I'm going to take you out to dinner tonight.
Oh, thank you, Lord Peter.
But you must excuse me for a moment. I'm going to have a word with Sir Impey Biggs. I want to find out if there's some way I can have a meeting with his client.
I understand from my solicitors that you wish to see me. Please sit down.
Yes, I heard about the case and all that, and I thought there might be something I could do.
That was very good of you. Being a writer of detective stories, I've naturally studied your career with interest.
Well, that's rather a good thing anyway, because you'll understand I'm not really such an ass as I'm looking at present.
You're not looking an ass. The background doesn't altogether suit your style, but you're a very refreshing sight. I'm really very grateful to you. Now, I'm afraid I'm rather a hopeless case.
No, don't say that. It can't be hopeless unless you actually did it, and I know you didn't.
Well, I didn't, as a matter of fact. But it's rather like a book I wrote, in which I invented such a perfectly watertight crime that I couldn't work out any way for my detective to prove it, and had to fall back on the murderer's confession.
If necessary, we'll do the same. You don't happen to know who the murderer is, I suppose?
I don't think there is one. I really believe that Philip took the stuff himself. He was rather a defeatist sort of person.
Did you take your break-up pretty hard?
Well, I dare say it was partly that, but I think it was more that he felt his work wasn't sufficiently appreciated. He was apt to think that people were in league to spoil his chances.
And were they?
No, I don't think so. But I do think he offended a great many people. He was rather apt to demand things as a right, and that annoys people, you know.
Did he get on all right with his cousin?
Oh, yes. Though, of course, he always said it was no more than Mr. Urquhart's duty to look after him. Mr. Urquhart is fairly well off, and Philip's idea was that great artists deserve to be boarded and lodged at the expense of the ordinary man.
Forgive my asking, but were you very fond of Philip Boyes?
I must have been, mustn't I, under the circumstances?
No, not necessarily. You might have been sorry for him, or bewitched by him, or even badgered to death by him.
All those things.
Were you friends?
No. Philip wasn't the sort of man to make a friend of a woman. He wanted devotion. I gave him that, but I couldn't stand being made a fool of. I quite thought he was honest when he said he didn't believe in marriage, and then it turned out that it was a test to see whether my devotion was abject enough. Well, it wasn't. I didn't like matrimony being offered as a bad conduct prize.
I don't blame you.
Don't you?
No. It sounds to me as if the fellow was a prig, not to say a bit of a cad.
Well, there it is. I thought that Philip had humiliated me and had made both of us look ridiculous, and the minute I saw that, well, the whole thing simply shut down. Flopped.
Well, I'm glad you feel like that about it.
Are you? It's not going to be exactly helpful in the present crisis.
No, I was looking beyond that. What I mean to say is, when all of this is over, I want to marry you, if you can put up with me and all that.
Oh. Are you another of them? That makes 47.
47 what?
Proposals. They come in by every post. I suppose there are a lot of idiots who want to marry anybody who's at all notorious.
Oh, dear me. That makes it very awkward. As a matter of fact, I don't need any notoriety. I can get into the papers off my own bat. Perhaps I'd better not mention it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. But one gets a bruised sort of feeling in my position.
I understand that. It was stupid of me.
You're bearing in mind, aren't you, that I've had a lover?
Oh, yes. So have I, if it comes to that. In fact, several. I can produce quite good testimonials. I'm told I make love rather nicely. Only I'm at a disadvantage at the moment. One can't be very convincing at the other end of a table with a bloke looking in at the door.
I will take your word for it. However, it seems very probable that I shall not survive to appreciate it.
Don't be so damn discouraging. I have already carefully explained to you that this time I am investigating this business. I don't positively repel you or anything like that, do I?
No. You don't repel me.
I'm glad of that. Any minor alterations like parting the old mane or growing a toothbrush or cashiering the eyeglass I should be happy to undertake.
Please don't alter yourself in any particular.
Well, I suppose I ought to be going. You will think it over, won't you? There's no hurry. I'm not trying to blackmail you into matrimony, you know. I mean, I should investigate this for the fun of the thing, whatever happened, don't you see?
It's very good of you.
No, not at all. It's my hobby. Not proposing to people, I don't mean, but investigating things. Well, cheer frightfully ho and all that. And I'll call again if I may.
I will give the footman orders to admit you. You will always find me at home.
A little more tea, Lord Peter.
Oh, thank you, Miss Clemson.
And another tea cake, perhaps?
Irresistible. Tell me, why do people kill people?
I really don't know. It's so dangerous as well as so terribly wicked, one wonders that anyone has the effrontery to undertake it. But people do.
But why?
Well, there is passion, for I should not like to call it love when it is so unregulated.
Righto, passion. So under that heading, what have we got? 1, Miss Vane, ruled out ex hypothesis. 2, jealous lovers. 3, ditto rival. It doesn't seem all that promising.
Money?
Ah, very good motive for murdering anybody who has any, but a poor one in Boyce's case. Still, let us say money. I can think of 3 subheadings for that. 1, robbery from the person, very improbable. 2, insurance. 3, inheritance.
Was he insured, do you know? And did he designate an heir?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to have occurred to anyone to find out. Probably he wasn't. These literary chaps seem to have very little forethought.
Well, did he make any money from his books, do you know?
They were certainly nasty enough. I might have a word with his publisher.
You don't think he may have been...
Yes, Miss Clemson?
You don't think he may have been involved in blackmail or something of the sort?
The real trouble is that I know nothing about the fellow. Boyce may have been a blackguard of the deepest dye. He may have known unmentionable things about all his friends, or he may have been writing a book to show somebody up, so that he had to be suppressed at all costs. Where am I to start? The trouble is I've only got 4 weeks in which to work it out.
Well, have you completely ruled out the possibility of suicide?
Oh, no. I still think that's our best bet. Arsenic is tomfool stuff to do it with, but it has been done. But if that is the case, what did he do with the bottle?
Well, I'm sorry you think we've got the wrong pig by the ear, Peter, but it's the defence's job to point out where we're wrong. And I can't say they put up a very convincing show.
No, confound them. I hope they fry in hell and are served up with cayenne pepper in a red-hot dish.
What eloquence. Anyone would think you were going goopy over the girl.
Going goopy? When you went off the deep end about my sister, I may have been unsympathetic, I dare say I was, but I swear I didn't dance on your tenderest feelings and call your manly devotion going goopy over a girl. I don't know where you pick up such expressions, as the clergyman's wife said to the parrot.
Well, if it's like that, I'm sorry, old man. But what can I do?
Now you're talking. Look, Charles, the most likely thing is that this unspeakable blighter committed suicide.
But the defence were not able to trace any arsenic in Boyce's possession.
That's because they haven't tried. But then they probably couldn't trace a herd of black cattle in a snowfield. I want you people to take it up.
Query arsenic. Anything else?
Yes. There's a yawning gap in Boyce's movements between the time he left Miss Vane's flat at 10 p.m. and his picking up a cab 10 minutes later. Time enough for the blighter to pour poison down his throat. See if your men can find out if he called at any pub in the neighbourhood and what he had to drink. And you might find out if any bottle or paper that might have contained arsenic was picked up anywhere nearby.
And would you like me to trace the bus ticket dropped by Mrs. Brown outside Selfridge's in the last Christmas rush?
A bottle is more likely than a paper, because I think the arsenic must have been taken in liquid form to work so quickly.
Well, I'll do my best, Peter, but if you do find out anything which really proves that we've been on the wrong track, you will let us know, won't you? I don't want our mistakes plastered over the front page.
If I spot the criminal, I promise I'll let you arrest him.
Well, thanks for small mercies, and good luck. Funny you and me being on opposite sides, isn't it?
Very. I'm sorry about it, but it's your own fault.
Well, you realise that probably all our young friend did during those missing 10 minutes was to stand about looking for a stray taxi.
Oh, shut up, Charles. You're supposed to be trying to help. And if, by any chance, you are still goopy over my sister, will you tell her to give me a ring? I haven't heard from her for weeks.
So you really have come back?
Didn't you expect me to? I fancied I'd left the impression that was the general idea. I thought of a good plot for a detective story right up your street in its way.
Then you must tell me what it is.
We'd better get through the business aspect first. Do you happen to know whether Philip Boyes left a will?
I believe that he did, while we were living together.
In whose favour?
Oh, in mine. Not that he had much to leave, poor man. It was chiefly that he wanted a literary executor.
Are you, in point of fact, his executor now?
Oh, I shouldn't think so. I took it for granted that he would have made a new will after I left him.
Well, I'm glad it didn't come up at the, thingamabob.
You mean the trial? You needn't be so delicate about mentioning it. You're suggesting that I might have murdered him for his money? It wouldn't have amounted to much. I was making 4 times as much as he was.
I'm afraid his death has rather changed all that. I've been having a word with his publisher, a perfectly odious party named Cole. Boyes' books are selling like hotcakes. That's what gave me the idea for the detective yarn.
Tell me.
Well, it's about a girl who writes crime stories, and she has, a friend who also writes. Neither of them are bestsellers, just ordinary novelists.
Oh, yes, that's the kind of thing that might happen.
And the friend makes a will leaving his money, profits from the books and so on, to the girl.
Really?
And the girl, who's got rather fed up with him by this time, thinks of a grand scoop that will make both of them bestsellers.
Oh, yes.
She polishes him off by the same method she uses in her latest crime thriller.
Oh, daring stroke.
And, of course, his books immediately become bestsellers.
Genius. An entirely new motive for murder. But don't you think it might be a little dangerous? She might be suspected of the murder.
That's her way of turning her books into bestsellers, too.
Very true. But possibly she wouldn't live to enjoy the profits.
Yes. That, of course, is a slight snag.
No, sir. Mr. Urquhart's away, I'm afraid. Gone up to see a sick relative in Westmoreland.
And how long is he likely to be away, do you think?
I couldn't tell you, sir. If the lady recovers, he'll be back at once. But I know he's very busy at the moment. If the old lady passes away, of course he'll be engaged up there for some time, settling the estate.
But of course, if everything goes well up in Westmoreland and all that, he may be back quite soon.
Oh, yes, sir. Last time he wasn't away more than a couple of days. And a merciful providence that was, with Mr. Boyes dying in that dreadful manner.
Yes, indeed. That must be most distressing for all of you.
Oh, I don't hardly like to think of it. A gentleman dying like that in the house, and poisoned, too. And it was me who had the cooking of his dinner.
But the dinner wasn't at fault, surely.
Oh, no, sir. We proved that most careful. There wasn't a thing yet but the master and the maid and I had a taste of. And very grateful I was for that, I can tell you.
I'm sure you were. And wasn't there...
Oh, you must excuse me, sir. The parlour maid is in bed with the influenza, and that'll be the butcher at the side door.
You couldn't give the address where Mr. Urquhart is staying, by any chance?
Well, I don't rightly know if the master would wish it, sir. If it's a matter of business, perhaps you should try his office in Bedford Row.
Hello? Miss Clemson? Lord Peter Wimsey is speaking. I'm outside Mr. Norman Urquhart's office in Bedford Row. I've just called in there, and apparently their young lady clerk has suddenly gone off to get married and left them in the lurch. I think this might be our opportunity to get somebody in there to pick up any gossip about the Harriet Vane business. Do you have a girl that might be suitable? Excellent. Not too much face powder, and her skirt should be the regulation 4 inches below the knee. Right-ho. Get her in and I'll give the girl her instructions. Keep up the good work.
You wish to speak to me, my lord?
You have a good, upstanding, impressive figure, if I may say so, Bunter, and I'm persuaded you have a way with you. What more could any parlour-maid or cook want?
I am always happy to exert myself to the best of my capacity in your lordship's service. Who is the party in question, my lord?
I understand her name is Pettican.
Indeed, my lord.
A fine woman, Bunter. On the mature side, perhaps, but none the worse for that.
Certainly not, my lord. If I may say so, the woman of ripe years and queenly figure is frequently more susceptible to delicate attention than the giddy and thoughtless young beauty.
True. Let us suppose, Bunter, that you were to be the bearer of a courteous missive to one Norman Urquhart of Woburn Square. Could you, in the short space of time at your disposal, insinuate yourself, snake-like as it were, into the bosom of the household?
If you desire it, my lord, I will endeavour to insinuate myself to your lordship's satisfaction.
Noble fellow.
And when would your lordship like me to commence?
As soon as I have written a note to Mr. Urquhart.
Mayfair 5341? Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Yes, sir. I'll tell him at once. Thank you, sir. That was Chief Inspector Parker, my lord. He wished me to inform you that they found the public house.
Have they, by Jove?
And furthermore, that he is on the track of a packet of white powder.
Good Lord. I'll roll round to see him at once.
A Mrs. Bullfinch of the 9 Rings in the Gray's Inn Road, quite a loquacious lady, it took her the best part of an hour to get round to the point, was serving in the saloon bar on the night in question, when a young man, roughly answering Philip Boyce's description, came in just after 10 and asked for a double brandy. Now, he was very white and obviously suffering from pains in the stomach. He downed the brandy and then asked for a glass of water, took out a white paper packet and dropped the contents into the water.
And did it fizz or anything?
No, it was just a plain powder, apparently.
And the packet? What about the packet?
Oh, that's proving more difficult than I anticipated. It seems she picked it up and put it on the shelf behind the bar where they keep the spirits. But it isn't there anymore.
Oh, damnation.
Well, I've told the boys to go over the place until they find it.
There may still be traces of arsenic inside it.
Or it may just be an indigestion powder. Well, how about you, Peter? Turned up anything?
I managed to track down that chap Ryland Vaughan.
The man that Boys made his literary executor?
Yes. I had to go to some perfectly frightful party where everyone was eating kippers and drinking some perfectly disgusting Russian tea.
And what did you make of Vaughan?
He was doped up to the eyebrows and eating caviar with a pickle fork. He reckoned that Boys would never have taken arsenic, too suburban. And I'm sorry to say he's convinced that Miss Vane did it. Worse still, the blighter's got a solid alibi.
Too bad.
He doesn't care much for Norman Urquhart either. Reckoned he'd had a bad influence on Boys. Out to ruin him body and soul was the way he put it.
Urquhart. Do you think there's anything there, Peter?
He seems to have covered himself pretty thoroughly as far as the dinner they took together is concerned, and I can't for the life of me see why he should want to do away with his cousin. But I've got the best man possible working on it.
Do have another crumpet, Mr. Bunter.
Oh, thank you, no.
A dreadful wicked woman that Harriet Vane must have been. Or banging on the head, or the use of a carving knife when roused, I can understand. But the horrors of slow poison is the work of a fiend in human form. And for the poor soul to die in our own house. Oh, I never slept a wink for 3 nights, what with the fright and the police and one thing and another.
Well, of course, you had no difficulty in proving that the dinner he ate here had nothing to do with it.
Well, you see, Mr. Bunter, the very morning after poor Mr. Boyce was took ill, the master comes down to us and says, "I'm afraid Mr. Boyce is very ill, and he thinks he must have ate something has disagreed with him. So I want..." It was the only thing that Mr. Boyce had to himself. The master doesn't drink. Doctor's orders. And Mr. Urquhart told me to cork it up and keep it afterwards. And it was just as well I did.
It was very far-sighted of Mr. Urquhart to take such precautions.
And when I think how near he was to being away from home at the time. Called away to that tiresome old woman who's always a-dying but never dies. Aye, he's there now, up in Westmoreland with Mrs. Rayburn. Rich as sneezes she is, by all accounts. A wicked old woman she was in her day, or so they say. Queen Victoria wouldn't never allow her to act before the royal family.
An actress, was she?
I can't rightly recollect what her stage name was. Hyde Park, or something like that. Anyway, it seems she's out of danger now.
So, Mr. Urquhart will soon be returning. Even so, it might be best if you would be so kind as to forward Lord Peter's letter to him.
Oh, I'll do that, Mr. Bunter. But I do hope you'll call here again. The master makes no objection to respectable gentlemen at tea time. And Wednesday is my half day.
I'll bear it in mind, Mrs. Pettican.
Of course, I'm only too willing to help you in any way, Lord Peter, although I suspect there is very little I know that you do not. Naturally, I was very much taken aback by the result of the autopsy, and rather relieved, I must admit, that no suspicion was likely to be thrown on our little dinner.
Frightfully trying for you. But you seem to have taken the most admirable precautions at the time.
Well, you know, I suppose we lawyers get into the habit of taking precautions. Though what was in my mind at the time was the possibility of some kind of food poisoning.
Obviously one doesn't jump to the conclusion that people have been murdered.
Exactly. Though I've had very little to do with criminal cases. My work is almost entirely concerned with conveyancing, probate and divorce, that kind of thing.
Talking of probate, I was curious to know whether Boyce had any financial expectations of any sort.
None at all that I know of. His father is a country parson, and most of the family seem to exhibit very little financial stamina.
I had an idea there was a rich aunt somewhere.
No. Unless you're thinking of old Cremorne Garden. She's a great-aunt on the mother's side.
Isn't that the same woman as Mrs. Rayburn of Windle in Westmoreland, where I wrote to you, in fact?
That's right. As a matter of fact, we all thought she'd gone the other day. It always seems to me a cruel thing that one may not put these poor old people out of the way as one would a loved animal. But the law will not let us be so merciful.
Quite so. I suppose there wasn't anything coming to Boyce from poor old Cremorne. Pardon my asking, but you see, it occurred to me that he might have got himself into some kind of financial mess-up and have taken the easy way out. But if he'd got expectations from her, and since the old girl was so near to shuffling off the mortal thingamy, he might have raised a post-obit or something of the sort.
Oh, I see. You're exploring a possible case for suicide. Well, I can assure you that there was nothing coming to Philip Boyce from Mrs. Rayburn.
And what about you? I know it's frightfully impertinent and all that.
There is no reason why you shouldn't know. As a matter of fact, I am the sole legatee.
Oh, well, but that rather weakens my case, doesn't it? I mean to say that if your cousin knew that everything was coming to you, then if he'd got into difficulties, he might have looked to you.
I see what you mean, but such a disposal would be against the terms of the will. She considered that she had been so badly treated by his family that... But since we've got so far, I can show you the will itself. I'll just get the girl to... Oh, no, of course. It had completely slipped my mind. It's in my safe at home. I took it back with me at the time of the last alarm about Mrs. Rayburn's health. Well, the gist of it is...
Oh, never mind. There's no hurry. If I called at your home tomorrow, perhaps I could see it then.
By all means, if you think it that important.
I'll come round first thing.
Well, I found the draft for you, Lord Peter. It exposes the family skeletons a bit, but it's all ancient history now. Here you are.
Very kind of you to go to so much trouble.
There were 3 sisters, you see. Philip's grandmother Jane, who was the eldest, my grandmother Mary, and Rosanna, who ran away and went on the stage.
And she took the name of Cremorne Garden.
She took everything. Money, jewels, whatever her admirers chose to shower on her. She became the spoilt darling of fashionable London. Her parents were horrified. They struck her name out of the family Bible. As far as Philip's grandparents were concerned, they refused to have anything to do with the family black sheep. They returned her letters unopened, forbade her the house. They even tried to have her turned out of the church at my grandfather's funeral.
That really was going it a bit.
My grandmother did at least write to her from time to time and invited her to my mother's wedding. The old lady never forgot anything, and so when the time came for her to make her will, she left everything to me and cut Philip out completely. This is the crucial passage.
To mark my sense of the inhuman treatment meted out to me by the family of the said Philip Boyce, I enjoin the said Norman Urquhart that he neither lend nor convey to the said Philip Boyce any part of the income derived from the said property, nor employ the same to assist the said Philip Boyce in any manner whatsoever. Well, that's pretty clear, and pretty vindictive.
Yes, it is. But what can you do with old ladies who won't see reason?
And when was this drawn up?
You can see the date. 8 years ago.
It must have depressed Philip Boyce, all right. I'm glad I've seen it, though. It makes the whole suicide theory a good deal more plausible.
But I don't understand exactly what it is you want me to do, Lord Peter. Surely it would be better to send one of the girls.
Oh, no, I can't trust anyone but you, Miss Clemson.
Well, I suppose if you put it like that.
The trouble is, I can't in the least tell you how to set about it. I want you to go up to some place called Windle in Westmoreland and get hold of an old lady called Mrs. Rayburn, who by all accounts is completely gaga. I don't know who looks after her or how you're going to get into the house, but somehow you've got to manage it and to find out where her will is kept and get a sight of it.
But wouldn't it be much easier to have a word with her solicitor?
That's just the problem. Urquhart showed me what purported to be the draft of Mrs. Rayburn's will. He said that it had been made 8 years ago. The snag is that it was typed on a machine that only came onto the market 5 years ago.
Dearie me.
Yes, and that lady you planted in his office...
Miss Murchison.
Well, she's had a good scout round. I taught her how to pick the lock of a deed box. But there's nothing there. So you see, it's all up to you.
When do you want me to start?
At once. We've only got a week if we're going to ask for a postponement of the new trial. Draw on me for anything you need, and don't stint on the wires and phone calls. 5341.
Peter, we've found the packet.
Actually found it?
Yes. You see, one of the barmen at the 9 Rings...
Yeah, never mind the barman. You're sure it's the right packet?
Oh, yes, we've identified it.
But have you analysed it? What is it, Charles?
Bicarbonate of soda.
5341.
Peter, it's Freddie.
Oh, hello, Freddie.
I thought you might like to know that I've turned up something rather interesting about your Urquhart chappie.
Jolly good. What is it?
Have you heard of the Megatherium Trust?
Crashed pretty heavily, from what I read in the papers.
Yeah, they were pretty well wiped off the map. And your man Urquhart was in the thick of it. Apparently he lost a packet. What's more, I gather he was speculating with money that wasn't his.
Ah, I think a bottle of Pommery is in order, Freddie.
I certainly won't let you forget. Good hunting, Peter.
Lord Peter? Lord Peter, is that you?
Miss Clemson at last. Every time the ballyphone has gone ting-a-ling-a-ling, I've been convinced it's you. How are you getting on?
I have succeeded, Lord Peter. Though what excuse I can find in my conscience for the methods I have used...
Your conscience of want, Miss Clemson. What have you found?
Well, it took me a day or two to track down Mrs. Rayburn's nurse, but once I knew who she was, I managed to bump into her accidentally on purpose in the cosy cafe.
Yes? Can I help you?
Oh, do excuse me, but I think this little parcel must be yours. I picked it up just in the doorway, and I've asked all the other people in the cafe.
Oh, no. That isn't mine. I have all my parcels here.
How very odd. I was so sure it belonged to you. I wonder what I had better do with it.
You could hand it in to the cashiers, in case the owner came back here to claim it.
Well, now, so I could. How clever of you to think of it. May I?
Oh, please, do sit down.
Oh, but I wouldn't want to intrude.
Oh, no, not at all. I live a very solitary life, and I'm always glad to find someone to talk to.
And then I noticed that she had a book in her basket called Can the Dead Speak? Now, as it happens, I used to be quite friendly with a little man from the Psychical Research Society, and in no time at all Miss Booth and I were up to our eyebrows in spiritualism.
Unfortunately, I am not mediumistic myself. I can't get anything at all when I'm alone. Last night I was trying with the Ouija board, but it would only write in spirals.
Well, your conscious mind is too active, I expect.
Yes, I dare say it is. Do you yourself have any mediumistic powers?
I have been told so. And I've seen one or two strange things happen.
I wonder whether if we were to try together...
Oh, I don't really like...
Oh, but you're such a sympathetic person. I'm sure we could get good results.
And before we'd even got round to the fancy cakes, she'd invited me to attempt a séance with her in her room at Mrs. Rayburn's house. I bought a little metal soap box, which I attached to my knees with sticky tape, so that when I brought my knees together, it made a most satisfying crack. I have a little experience of séances, and with the help of the soap box, I was able to get the most astonishing results through a spirit guide called Fedora, who was a slave girl to the Empress Pompeia.
Shall we speak to it?
Will you give me 1 knock for yes, and 2 for no. Are you the spirit of one who has passed over? Are you pleased to see us? Are you here to ask anything for yourself? Are you anxious to help us? Are you here on behalf of another person? Is it the spirit of a man? Is it the spirit of a woman?
You're a wonderfully strong medium.
By our second session, I fairly had Nurse Booth eating out of my hand, and went off into a trance making out that I was Mrs. Rayburn.
But surely you've not yet passed over.
Not yet. Neither in the body nor out of the body. Waiting. Must make haste. Great difficulties.
Are you in trouble about something?
Great trouble.
I hope it isn't anything to do with my treatment.
Don't be so foolish.
Can you tell us what it is, then?
My will.
Do you want to alter your will?
No, not alter it.
What do you want us to do with it, then?
Send it to Norman.
To Norman Urquhart?
Yes, he knows.
Can you tell us where to find it?
I have forgotten. You must search.
Is it somewhere in the house?
Somewhere. Somewhere. You must search for it. Search.
Miss Climson, you make Machiavelli sound like a schoolboy. And did you manage to find it?
Oh, yes. It was in a wall safe in the study. But I'm quite good at that kind of thing.
And what did it say?
The gist of it was that the real estate and £50,000 was to go to Philip Boyes.
And Norman Urquhart?
He was to get the residue, and to be the sole executor.
And if anything happened to Boyes?
Everything was to go to Urquhart.
And where is the will now?
On its way to Urquhart's office. I think you should warn our Miss Murchison to keep an eye out to see what he does with it when it arrives.
I always knew there was something fishy about that will, Bunter.
Yes, my lord.
There is something about wills that brings out the worst side of human nature. Could you tell Chief Inspector Parker that I would be glad to have a word with him? And perhaps you could manage for Freddie Arbuthnot to drop in as well.
My lord.
Oh, and, Bunter, could you get Miss Vane's solicitors on the phone and tell them that I have found out the criminal and the motive, and hope very shortly to prove the way the crime was done. So could they manage to get the case put off for a week or two?
Very good, my lord.
All the same, Bunter, I really don't know how it was done.
That will undoubtedly suggest itself before long, my lord.
Oh, yes, I'm not going to let a trifle like that worry me.
So, as the matter stands, your argument is that Miss Vane is innocent, and you intend to prove that by bringing in an accusation against Norman Urquhart.
The idea being that Urquhart knocked off Boyes so that he got hold of all of old Cremorna's fortune.
Just so, Freddie.
Well, I agree that you do have something of a case, Peter, particularly in view of the lengths to which Urquhart went to mislead everyone about the contents of his aunt's will. But I do have to warn you that you still have to establish evidence as to means and opportunity.
I know that, Charles. Tell us a new one.
The great snag is when and how was the poison administered. And we know that Miss Vane possessed arsenic, and she could easily have given it to Philip Boyes without witnesses. But even supposing that Urquhart had any arsenic, his only opportunity would have been at the dinner he shared with Boyes. And we know that there was no way in which he could have done so.
You don't think...
Yes, Freddie?
Well, you don't think that it's a bit odd that he took so many precautions over that meal, making sure that the servants finished everything off, and even corking up that bottle of wine?
I don't imagine that that would cut much ice with the jury. What we really need...
Miss Climson is here, my lord.
But show her in, Bunter, show her in.
Oh, Lord Peter, I trust that I am not intruding.
No one could possibly be more welcome, Miss Clemson. Do I take it that you have some news for us?
Yes, from Miss Murchison.
The lady you craftily installed in Urquhart's office.
The same.
Mrs. Rayburn's will arrived from Westmoreland this morning. The chief clerk left it with Mr. Urquhart, and Miss Murchison managed to walk into the office without knocking and noticed that Urquhart was doing something or other over at the mantelpiece. There was no sign of the will on his desk.
So what had he done with it?
She managed to get into Urquhart's office when everybody had gone home, apart from the cleaning lady. And she found that there was a secret cupboard in the panelling over the mantelpiece. She got it open, more by luck than judgment, I suspect. And there was the will and some share certificates from the Megatherium Trust.
What did I tell you?
And there was something else. A white packet with the name of a foreign chemist on the label. It contained white powder. She tipped a little of it into an envelope, and I thought I had better bring it round straight away.
Arsenic. Now are you convinced, Charles?
It'll have to be analysed, of course.
I'll bet you anything you like it's arsenic.
But even if it is, how the devil did he give it to boys?
Give me the customary dressing gown and an ounce of shag, and I shall undertake to dispose of that little difficulty in a brace of shakes. In the meantime, old man, I'd like you to stand by to be ready to arrest our man when the time comes.
Well, I'll do that gladly, Peter. All personal considerations apart, I'd rather see that oily-haired fellow in the dock than that unfortunate young woman.
Bunter?
Yes, my lord.
I would like you to put your growing acquaintance with Mrs. Pettican to good use.
In what way, my lord?
I have noticed that Norman Urquhart's fingernails are always quite impeccably turned out. I would like you to find for me the name and address of his manicurist.
I will endeavour to do that, my lord.
Oh, and, Bunter, there are a couple of books I'd like you to get down for me. Dixon Mann's Forensic Medicine and Toxicology and The Trial of Florence Maybrick. Oh, and a Shropshire Lad. I fancy a quiet read. Won't marry me.
Be fair to you, and besides...
Well?
I'm frightened of it. One couldn't get away. I'll live with you if you like, but I won't marry you.
But that sort of thing doesn't always work. Dash it all, you ought to know. Forgive my alluding to it and all that, but it's frightfully inconvenient, and one has as many rows as if one was married.
I know that, but you could cut loose any time you wanted to.
But I shouldn't want to.
Oh, yes, you would. You've got a family and traditions and all that.
For what they're worth, the family traditions are all on my side. We've got an old family motto about it. I hold by my whimsy. I jolly well intend to do what I like about marrying. Who's to stop me?
And would people forget that I'd had a lover?
My dear child, they're forgetting that kind of thing every day. They're experts at it.
And were supposed to have murdered him.
And were triumphantly acquitted of having murdered him, however greatly provoked.
Well, I won't marry you. If people can forget all that, they can forget we're not married.
At least I take it that the general idea of living with me does not hopelessly repel you.
Oh, do please stop asking me questions. I don't know. I can't think. I can't see beyond the next few days. I only want to get out of this and be left alone.
All right. I won't worry you. Abusing my privilege and so on. You can't exactly say pagans sweep out, so I'll sweep myself out. In any case, I've got Norman Urquhart coming round for a friendly cup of coffee.
Turkish. Excellent.
My man does it rather well. And perhaps you'd care for a little Turkish delight to go with it.
Oh, the genuine Eastern variety, if I'm not mistaken. Delicious.
Oh, do have another lump. Have as many as you like. Settle down and make yourself comfy while I tell you a little tale. I'm sure you'll find it interesting and all that.
And is this the whole of your fantastic accusation?
By no means. I'm just coming to the best bit.
Allowing that all this preposterous story were true, which I most emphatically deny, I should be greatly interested to know how you imagine I administered the arsenic.
I'm only too happy to oblige. It was not before dinner, and I think we can absolve the soup and also the fish, since that would involve the cooperation of Mrs. Pettican.
And that would have been a little rash of me, would it not?
Yes, and rashness isn't exactly your forte, Mr. Urquhart. It was the forethought you'd given to the whole operation that attracted my attention in the first place. Shall I go on?
By all means.
Which brings us to the casserole. And I think we can give that a clean bill of health too, since your housekeeper and the maid finished it off. Which leaves us with the omelette. A charming idea to have it prepared at the table.
You are not forgetting that my cousin made it himself.
I'm not. But it was you that broke the eggs into the bowl, and I am sure that you remember that one of them was cracked. And it would not have been very difficult for you to have added powdered arsenic to a cracked egg.
Are you suggesting that somehow one poisoned egg was miraculously separated from the rest and deposited with its load of arsenic at one end of the omelette?
Not in the least. I'm merely suggesting how the arsenic came into the omelette by way of the egg.
Yes, there seem to be some flaws in your theory as well as in the egg.
I haven't finished my theory yet. The next bit of it is built up from trifling indications. Let me enumerate them. Your disinclination to drink during dinner, your complexion, a few nail parings, a snipping or so from your very well-kept hair. I put them together, add a packet of arsenic from the secret cupboard in your office, and what have we got? Abracadabra, hemp.
Hemp? I don't understand you.
It's what they make ropes of, you know, the kind of things that hangmen use.
What on earth are you talking about?
Ever heard of a Johnny called Mithridates?
Mithridates?
The 6th, to be exact, king of Bithynia and Pontus, turned in his gold sandals around 63 BC.
What the devil has he got to do with anything?
He made himself immune from poisons. Take arsenic, for instance. It's not good for you in a general way, but I understand that if you take it in small doses to start with, you can get quite used to it and eventually manage to put away quite large dollops of the stuff, enough to kill an ordinary chap. As A.E. Houseman so charmingly put it, they put arsenic in his meat and stared aghast to watch him eat. They poured strychnine in his cup and shook to see him drink it up. I tell the tale that I heard told, Mithridates, he died old.
I can only suggest that you should be very careful before communicating this theory to anybody else. What you and the police may have been planting in my office, I do not know. It is true that I have for some time been taking a medicine which contains slight traces of arsenic. It may have left traces in my skin and hair, but further than that, there is no possible foundation for this ludicrous accusation.
None?
None.
Then how is it that you have consumed without any apparent ill effect a dose of arsenic sufficient to kill 3 ordinary people? That disgusting Turkish delight on which you so gleefully gorged yourself is smothered in white arsenic. What? You ate it an hour and a half ago. You should have been rolling about in agony by now.
You're lying. You wouldn't dare to do such a thing.
Can't you manage to work up a few symptoms? Does your throat burn? Is your inside convulsed with agony?
You devil! You poisoned me!
Are you going to be sick? Shall I show you the bathroom?
Help!
I'm sure you can do better than that, but if you do want the bathroom, it's along the passage, 3rd on the left.
Yes, my lord?
I think, Bunter, that Mr. Urquhart may require some assistance in the bathroom.
Very good, my lord.
Take your hands off me! I tell you, leave him. Let go of me, I tell you. How dare you? Don't dare you.
Well, was he sick?
No, he wasn't. His only thought was to try and get out of the window. When you saw it was a 3-story drop, he charged through the dressing room and ran straight into me. Now, don't struggle, my lad. You'll only hurt yourself.
And he still doesn't know whether he's poisoned or not.
He doesn't seem to think he was.
Oh, for God's sake, stop talking about it. You've got me by a vile, damnable trick, isn't that enough?
Oh, we've got you, have we? Well, I warned you not to talk, but if you will do it, it's not my fault. Did you actually poison him, Peter? It doesn't seem to have hurt him, but it'll affect the doctor's report.
I didn't, as a matter of fact. I only wanted to know how he'd react.
Well, that makes life much easier all round. Take him down to the car, will you, Constable? I'd like a quiet word with you, if I may, Peter, over a little private matter.
Do I understand that the charge against the prisoner is withdrawn?
Those are my instructions, my lord.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there is nothing left for you but to return a verdict of not guilty.
I am further instructed to say, my lord, that in withdrawing the charge against the prisoner, the Crown proceeds from complete conviction of her innocence.
I am very glad to hear it. Prisoner at the bar, the Crown, by unreservedly withdrawing this dreadful charge against you, has demonstrated your innocence in the clearest possible way. After this, nobody will be able to suppose that the slightest imputation rests upon you. And I must heartily congratulate you on this very satisfactory outcome to your long ordeal.
The prisoner is discharged without a stain on her character. You can't do much better than that. Your health, Peter.
Thank you, Freddie.
Parker's looking particularly pleased with himself, even if he did get it wrong the first time. Tell me, Peter, unless you're bound by a vow of silence and all that, is it true he's going to marry your sister?
That is what she tells me.
But isn't that going to stir things up a bit at Duke's Denver? I don't see the Duke taking kindly to the idea of Mary marrying a policeman.
Well, I don't imagine he'll be any too eager. But if he's going to have a row with somebody, he'll be having it with me.
You don't mean to say you're going to marry a policewoman?
Not quite. I'm going to marry the prisoner. If she'll have me.
In Dorothy L. Sayers' Strong Poison, Lord Peter Wimsey was played by Simon Russell Beale, Harriet Vane, Emma Fielding, Freddie Arbuthnot, Nicholas Bolton, Chief Inspector Parker, Nicholas Farrell, Miss Climson, Jennifer Piercy, Norman Urquhart, Neville Jason, Bunter, Stephen Critchlow, Nurse Booth and Mrs. Pettican, Tessa Worsley, and The Judge by David Timpson. Strong Poison was dramatised by Michael Bakewell and directed by Fiona MacLean.